at once. There's plenty of time left on this clock. Notre Dame not out of it.
Let's check in on the field. Marty Snyder.
Well, Dan Harrington is here, and he is the dad of both Brad, who plays for Cal, and David, who plays for Notre Dame, hoping for a comeback for his son. His wife, Jill, however, not here today because she's in Rancho Santa Fe, California, where they're from, because they have just had their 12th child, Todd, believe it or not. 12th children ranging from 26 to 5 months. How about that?
Congratulations to the Harrington family, and a congratulations has to go out, unfortunately, to Penn State, the team playing against their son, as they have taken it across the line. Now the officials are going to confer, and they're going to give the try to the Nittany Lions.
Dan Taylor, I watched him practice a couple days ago with this team, and he's really got a ton of speed on the corner. Yesterday when I saw him play, he just wasn't pinning his ears back, as they say, and this time just backs himself into the corner. Nothing Notre Dame can do, but it all comes off a turnover by Notre Dame, and you got to protect the ball in sevens.
So Dan Taylor, the freshman from State College, PA, 5'9", 180. And Brian, we were talking about this earlier about the transition from American football or college football in the States to rugby, because you see a lot of players at these big name schools like Penn State and Notre Dame making that transition. What position in American football translates best to rugby? Is it a safety? Is it a linebacker? Is it a wide receiver?
Yeah, you know, you'd like to have a good option quarterback, maybe someone who goes about 6'2", 6'3". Cornerbacks, defensive backs would do well. Once you start getting into the linebacker range, although you have a good tackle, it's they're maybe a little too big to get around the field. Dan Taylor on the conversion, he's happy.
2-point conversion up and good, 21-0. 2:50 now to play in the ball game, and Notre Dame looking for some kind of offense, and they find something on the edge, and this is David Harrington. Beautiful pass, kicked into space, but it goes over to Penn State. Nice Johnny on the spot there as Dom DeFalco comes up with it for the Lions.
Referees calling Notre Dame player for being off his feet there in the ruck, diving over the ball. You got to come to the ruck on your feet. Got to play the game of rugby from your feet. Notre Dame guilty of an infraction there. Penn State going to milk the clock.
Byron Henry there with the infraction, so it's kicked out. It'll be line out. And Notre Dame right now just looking to get some rhythm going here on offense. Full day of rugby here from Philadelphia. Coming up next, this will be a great one. The two-time defending champions Dartmouth, the Big Green, taking on the Arizona Wildcats, and then UCLA and Navy getting together on the pitch.
Knocked by blue. Scrum green.
Penn State hand knocks the ball forward. It's going to be a scrum to Notre Dame, but with 1:43 on the clock, I think there's just not enough time left for the Irish.
Play the ball, not the man. Crouch! Touch! Set! Behind the ball. Rock!
Boy, with the 21 points comes confidence, and Penn State certainly playing with that confidence. Remember, they had a big win last night to get things going over Northeastern. Low-scoring game, 12-5, but now they find themselves in a perfect position, trying to advance on to the next round. And again, sloppy play does in the Fighting Irish.
Advantage over.
Under a minute to go.
Very, very patient, Penn State. No pressure. Take a look at big Mike Erickson. Played at Xavier with Seamus Kelly.
Erickson, 6'1", 245 out of Staten Island, and he is an absolute load to get down to the pitch.
Yeah, not a 14-minute guy anymore, but man, when he comes in, he unloads, and Penn State just drops the ball, and that is Selby Nuimatawalu.
Time, blue 4, blue 7, substitute, please. Blue 7.
Selby Nuimatawalu, the son of David Nui. A good look at him there, and I played with Nui, as we called him, against Australia in the World Cup, and his son now on the field. Rugby is passed down through the generations in the Nui family.
Behind the ball 9.
Another scrum coming here as the clock winds down. Again, Penn State in firm control of this one. Good first half, very tight, but it was Penn State that cleaned up their offense first, and that has sprung them out to a huge lead, shutting out the Fighting Irish so far.
Well, Notre Dame squandered every opportunity they've had with the ball. They just can't get it straight today. Too flat, not deep enough in attack, and the passes just aren't going to hand.
Saw that one coming, decided to duck away from it. Ben Jansen scoops it up for Penn State and stiff arms and gets himself a try.
A little bit of noise from the Penn State faithful here. They've been disappointed in recent years, but now they have reason to celebrate.
The co-captain from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, in his 4th CRC appearance, Ben Jansen with the try.
Respect. We've got chance for kickoff.
Dom DeFalco unable to convert the 2-point conversion, so it remains a 26-0 Nittany Lion lead. Just a few seconds remaining on the clock. Brian, I want to say, did you see this one coming? But we thought this might be a more competitive game. But as you pointed out, the Fighting Irish really just kind of shot themselves in the foot when it came to the offensive end of it.
Yeah, totally disappointing for Coach David Fee and Director of Rugby at Notre Dame, Sean O'Leary. These guys have been training a lot. They've been working with the Chicago Lions back at home, and they just came out and laid an egg today. And they'll regroup. They'll come back tomorrow and play better.
Well, Todd Blaser was telling me yesterday, our record here coming in unacceptable today. Does this make up for it? You're now 3-0 in this tournament.
It's almost making up for it, but we still got a bunch more games to go. We're looking to go to the final. That's where we're looking towards.
All right, they're looking to go to the final. He had a try, and Penn State gets the win.
Coming up, we've got another great matchup on the pitch. It'll be Arizona taking on the 2-time defending champions, and Arizona brings a beast in the form of Brett Thompson.
Brett Thompson is one of the better players in this tournament.
He seems to be a really hard-working player. He's always on the shoulder of the guy that's going into contact.
His experience, his leadership abilities.
He's a specimen. His work ethic is unreal.
He has a great wingspan, so you can't really juke him because he just opens up his arms. He can tackle you.
It's a great challenge, opportunity to play against him in a tournament like this.
The Reaper. It's as unforgiving as the summer heat and preys on the unprepared. Don't let overheating kill your engine. Be prepared with Prestone's patented anti-corrosion coolant formula. Cheat the death of your car. Prestone it.
Klondike's 5 seconds to glory. Jim versus Baby Talk.
I'm your little hamster.
Climb in my pocket, little hamsty wamsty.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
I am a United States sailor.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
And I will obey the orders of those appointed over me.
I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me.
To defend freedom and democracy around the world.
I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team.
With honor, courage, and commitment.
I am committed to excellence
and the fair treatment of all.
We are America's Navy.
What's Magis? Doing more than the bare minimum. Having the courage to test yourself in the real world. Working for the A instead of settling for a B. Using your education to make a better world. When you finally see that it really isn't all about you. That's the Magis. Live greater. St. Joseph's University.
You are looking at the 2-time defending champions from Hanover, New Hampshire, the rugby powerhouse that is Dartmouth. And they are very familiar what it takes to win the CRC. national champions.
We've had some good teams in recent years, and we hope to continue that legacy.
People are definitely going to be coming for us, and winning 3 times would mean that we were a dynasty.
That just motivates me even more to play to an even higher standard.
There's always going to be a target on our backs. We wouldn't want it any other way.
And we are now fortunate to be joined by the man that got them, or guided them to the 2 champions, Alex Magleby, the head coach for Dartmouth, now the head coach of USA Sevens. Alex, let's just get right to it. You're the head coach of USA Sevens. What is the future for you in that position?
We would have to start with this one, right?
Just get it out of the way.
Well, my contract ends with the World Cup, and I came in to do a job and help the team grow. And it's one of those things that we don't get the timing right a lot, and that's where we mess up half the time, and we do the right thing at the wrong time. And the reality is there's 2 paths here, and to try to pretend that there was just the one and I could do both over time. It's to be a national team coach, an Olympic coach. That's your family. That's what you have to do. It's nonstop. Everything else is compromised for that. And so I just had to be very honest with what the situation was going to be.
So bottom line, you'll be stepping aside after July 1st.
Correct.
Going back to New Hampshire to help out Dartmouth win some more titles.
Not sure yet. We'll start with the first one first, and then we'll decide.
You've certainly left the program, though, in better shape than how you found it. The Team USA looks fantastic. We move on to this game now, something I know you're excited to see. The 2-time defending champions, Dartmouth, taking on a very talented Arizona squad. How do you see this game going, and how is the program at Dartmouth now that you've left?
Yeah, I mean, I bleed green, right? So we want to see Dartmouth do very well, and Gavin is a very good coach who's come in, and he's just continued to carry on and do some very, very good things. They're a very balanced team, and obviously they've got Madison, which is a huge impact on the program and this team. And of course, you know, Arizona, very talented as well, and Brett's a heck of a player. So really, who's going to shut down those superstars of this match?
Coach, I looked over at you while that highlight reel was playing from the championship. What were you going through? I saw a wry little smile come across your face. What were you thinking about?
It's just a really, really positive memories, right? And it's really good to get in touch with those. And I'm really excited for the boys to be here now, and it's a new team, and it's their legacy, and see how they do. It's exciting.
So break this down for me. What does Dartmouth have to do to try to stop some of the bigger players on Arizona, particularly Brett Thompson?
Right. What I would imagine Dartmouth would be doing is trying to play a pull-out game, move the ball, a lot of little quick passes, follow each other, avoid the ruck. You know, and again, where do you resource? If you're going to go after Brett and put 2 defenders on him, that gives space for somebody else. You have to be really wise in the decisions you make to resource, and perhaps avoid the ruck a little bit and see where it goes.
I heard you yesterday talk about how to really highlight a player and how to go after Brett Thompson. Would you actually run at him a few times?
Yeah, I think you can anaerobically fatigue a player, and that would be an important thing to do. The thing about Brett is his fitness is unbelievable now. So I'm not sure if that's what you want to be testing on Brett right now. 2
of the top programs in the country going head-to-head. Shane Carter getting a full head of speed taken down. Craig Samoy, another player to keep your eye on. But again, they've talked about it. Number 5, Brett Thompson, not an easy guy to miss. 6'4", 205, can pretty much do everything for head coach Dave Sitton.
Dartmouth defense scrambles a little bit, and notice that they resource where the ball is instead of trying to flank the entire field.
Cross forward in the tackle.
Thompson giving out instructions, trying to get the guys to calm down. And there is Dave Sitton, 39 years with the program at Arizona, 4 as a player now. He's got a little extra help on the sideline. Peter Tiberio, who is an Arizona alum and an absolute star in this tournament a few years back, is going to be here as an assistant coach helping him out.
Tiberio, who played for Coach Alex Magleby, who's with us right now. And
is my 2 off early, guys?
Brett Thompson had a...
Here we go.
Take a look at Madison Hughes.
Wow. Madison Hughes has been on a tear, started last night, and he picks up where he left off. Coach Magleby, I know you got to be objective here, but he may be one of the most complete players we've seen at this tournament.
Yeah, Madison's fantastic. He's very well balanced when he's running with the ball, but he's also a very, very smart player. He's got multiple tools. He can kick, he can run, he can pass, he can stay alive in contact. It's a very good package to have, and you know, we've seen Madison continue to grow each year. He's been in camp with the U.S. this year over the winter term, and he just continues to grow, and he's got a really bright future, I think.
And you're taking him to San Diego this week, is that right?
Yeah, he'll come and join the rest of the camp. So we've been in camp for the World Cup last week, and Madison will come and join us before he tries out for the Collegiate All-American trip to New Zealand.
Busy young man, just a sophomore from London, England, majoring in history, but he's 5'9", 175, and you talk about the prototypical rugby player. Is rugby sevens changing and more players like Madison Hughes that size becoming the emphasis?
It depends on what style of play you want to have, but at the end of the day, the restart is so important, so you have to have guys who can kick it, and you have to have aerialists who can win it. It's just 2/3 of all possession really are started from a restart, a kickoff, so you really want to dominate that part of the game to ensure you have quality possession, because at that time the defense is also fractured, so it's a very good time to attack from a restart.
Brett Thompson with the ball taken down, trying to form the ruck.
Going this way.
And there is Peter Tiberio, very talented player. Brian alluded to, played for Coach Magleby, USA Sevens, a big start. Remember last year during the championship, broke his arm, tried to keep it going, but they finally had to take him off the pitch.
Yeah, put a plate in that thing, and he's got a little bit of a train track going down that forearm he showed me the other day. Still playing rugby. He's in Chicago right now, trying to bounce back and still improve his game.
Straight out. No.
Ball goes out the tunnel, and Arizona maybe a little bit nervous with this Dartmouth green in front of them. You know, they're not an imposing bunch, but they do have a huge man who's playing prop right now, Ryan Galloway, 6'7". Although he told me 6'8", I believed him.
Gavin Hickey, you got a good look at him, the new head coach at Dartmouth, and he made some comments earlier this week knowing that, hey, we're the two-time champions, I'm the new coach, so all the pressure's on me, but he said he wouldn't have any other way. And Coach Magleby, do you have any words of advice to Gavin, or just do your thing?
Gavin's doing a great job with the program, and his mindset's on the right track, and he continues to grow and improve, and the program does as well.
Carter looks for space, dumps it off. Ryan Matthias.
This is the man they want to get the ball to. Thompson on the outside, but the big green are there to stand him up and then sit him down.
Huge tackle by Galloway on Thompson.
Now they're going to switch the field and come back, and now unfortunate pass error allows the big green to reset their defense.
Well, the truth is this, if you're going to play the kind of game where you just spin the ball corner to corner, Dartmouth is going to just let you do it all day.
All right, Coach Magleby, as the two-time national champion coach that you are, as Arizona's got a run going here. Nice dump off to number 7, Jacob Habe. Jack Arnold knocking at the door, and they'll get to try. I was going to ask you, Coach Magleby, if you were coaching Arizona this time, what would you be telling your players against Dartmouth?
Yeah, Dartmouth is a very well-balanced team. They've got height, they've got speed across the board. They've obviously got a very good playmaker in Madison, but I'm not sure they have a lot of grinders on that field. So move them into the contact point, move the ball away, but look for those offloads like Arizona is doing, and move that Dartmouth defense. Arizona's had a lot of possession. They're moving that Dartmouth defense now. Over time, that's going to create some holes in that defensive group. Dartmouth has to get possession, and if they don't have a poacher on that group, it's going to be tough.
7-minute halves in rugby sevens. Clock continues to run as we approach 1:30 to play. The conversion very important. 2 points, and we are all knotted up with 90 seconds to go in half number 1, even at 7. Fortunate to have Dartmouth's former coach, the man who guided them to 2 national champions over the last 2 years, Alex Magleby, Brian Hightower, Marty Snyder, and Todd Harris with you, and you were looking at Dave Sitton, head coach at Arizona in his 39th year, part of that program.
Alex, you've been with these guys for several years at this tournament, and while everyone else is trying to relax while they're off the field, these Dartmouth guys are taking their final exams. What is that like for these Dartmouth guys? You've been there before. Is that an extra added layer of stress on them?
I think there's a silver lining there. It could be for some athletes, it's depending on how they look at their studies, but it's a focus. It takes your focus away from this, and you don't want to be thinking about rugby this whole time. You've got to relax. You've got to emotionally let down. Physically, you've got to be doing something else anyway. So it's a good mental break, I think.
Well, just this morning, number 5, Madison Hughes, finished a exam on the history of Germany before he got on the bus. These guys are still working. Thompson with the ball, and he's got space.
Big man breaking it down to the 22-meter mark. They'll try and form the ruck. A little sloppy there, and there's Dartmouth there to pick it up in the turnover.
Leave it.
Well, I think I did draw the long straw at the hotel assignments because I am on the floor with Dartmouth, and I can say it gets very quiet by 11 o'clock. The kids from Dartmouth are doing their studies, and I have no problems.
Knock on force there by Wilson Chalkley as time runs down on this half and locked up.
Should I stop it, or what do you want? What do you want?
So despite the fact the clock is showing zeros, we will play on until we go to a out-of-bounds dead ball situation. And we will have
On your mark, gentlemen.
A few different theories here. Now Arizona could just win their own scrum and kick the ball into touch, go into the halftime break, get some air.
Let's go, guys.
But anytime you have possession, you got to use it. I always like the option of keeping the ball and trying to put points on the board.
Advantage. Penalty advantage.
Arizona trying to put some points on the board. All knotted up at 7. They've got numbers on the outside.
One of those numbers is Thompson.
Look at this.